everybody, it's your boy Chris Hercules. When I was in New York City, I had a chance to hang out with my good friend Jenn Jade Ledesna, a native of the Bronx. She's known as a triple threat in NYC. She's a singer, a dancer, an actor extraordinaire, and also known as a composer. So sit back and enjoy the interview.
I didn't want to be a singer, actually. I wanted to be a pulmonary specialist. So I was obsessed with science. But to answer your question, I needed to make money as a child because I wanted to buy the latest Barbies that were out and stuff. So the first Friday of every month would be my basic performance. So I programmed my show. I would watch Jam, and Synergy, and I would basically on the side B cassettes to her dolls. It was instrumental. So I'd make a whole show and I'd sell all the tickets, and number all the seats. And that's how I make my money and invite people. So it was almost like a survival thing. I needed those new toys. So I threw a show.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good answer, no?
For sure.
Bronx. The perils that happen of just environmental situations. So maybe as a singer, it's not humid enough, or I'm thirsty, or my mouth is dry in the middle of a show or a song, or it's like these little things. So it's not so much competition, because ultimately iron sharpens iron. I went to LaGuardia, which is the Performing Arts Fame High School, so we didn't see it like that. It was complete camaraderie. And I would always be the captain of teams for our basketball team and stuff. So it was I didn't see it as singular. I saw it as a plural situation. And jazz specifically, to me, and music, is a legacy music. It is ancestral, and it's very progressive. You have to learn how to listen to it, and it takes a lot of erudition to do it, and to be a wonderful audience member as well, separate from the feeling that one would have with the purity of connection to the self. So in regard to competition, I never saw it as such. I just saw it as growth. And in the theater, we always say, I always thought, my mentor Anna Ext always said, never a no. It's just a not now. So if you feel rejected, I wouldn't feel rejected. It's okay, I got to work on this now. It wasn't anything personal. So being a native New Yorker and my mother's daughter, where I'd come home with a 97, she'd be like, where are the other 3 points, So I just saw it as, excellence, I love myself some Mary J. Blige. Since I was a kid, everyone was like, oh my gosh, real love, all the remakes and whatnot. But of course, being a kid, you thought that was the original version. But Mary J., being from the Bronx, it's just that kind of vibe. My parents, were basically the age of my friends' grandparents, in essence. So I heard a lot of Celia Tito, Machito, Benny Murray, a lot of the old, El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico. So I would hear a lot of Latino, old school, Fania stuff. And so that was a byproduct of what was birthed. But me, specifically, I really love the oldies and doo-wop. I was obsessed with, I would I'd be like, Mom, can I please go to the doo-wop concert? And she'd make my sister go with me, and she'd be sleeping or eating popcorn, and I'm like, 16 candles. I love doo-wop.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is amazing.
Obsessed. That and, all the old movies and stuff like that, like Sunset Boulevard. I was I loved watching those things, all the throwbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We still have time first?
Yeah. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so special about that day. Even your emotions have an so much ooh, and when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know we, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? I think singing is salvation. Both of my parents have passed at this point, and for me it's the most fundamental way to connect to that which is energy. And it's like, how do you say it in Spanish? Un bendición. It's a blessing to be able to receive the blessing of music and heal people as you heal yourself through giving out sound, which is also like the Stanislavski technique. I'm an actor too, and a lot of it is just connection of like the thorax to the earth and just letting this thing resonate. So that's the most, I guess, special thing that I find. My name is Jennifer Jade Ledesna, and my father, may he rest in peace, had these gorgeous, deep emerald green eyes with this cocoa skin. And so my mom said, well, you didn't get the green eyes, but I gave you a green name, Jennifer Jade Ledesna. So it's a real name. It's my birth certificate name.
Okay.
Yes. People always think it's fake. I don't know why. Because it's baller. I like the word immensely dislike. At current, I would say the beauty of the, being able to, I guess it's the access of everybody, that everybody has access to machines now. So they can create things in essence. But it's almost like, well, what are we creating as opposed to reproducing? And the identity is lost somewhere in there, you know, and people get better at being in a machine of creating and reproducing something. But in essence, the fingerprint, the genetic DNA of that thing, the identity of music is kind of like in a blur, you know, in a cloud, under the auspice of individuality. So, yeah, that's the one thing I don't appreciate. Stealing instead of creating. You don't need to loop things. You don't need to, use machines as a clutch or a crutch, or it's like if you just are, go inside and check it out. Like, be happy with just being yourself. And I think more and more over time, globally, it's like an epidemic where it's like, what is this Western influence or whatever West is to anybody else? And even as the way children have the pressure of how to grow up, and what is the identity of what is feminine or innately masculine, and what is beautiful, the ideal of beauty. It's all across the board. It's not just in music. So it ends up being like this, instead of a beautiful place of gumbo where people create their own and then they have their taste, it becomes like this mishmash of like goo, where it's like the same thing everywhere you go. Anywhere in the world, doesn't matter the language, because it's like the visual, and it's like, oh, well, that looks like that, and that looks like that. And that riff sounds like it's from here, but it's not like,
Yes.
So I don't mind people learning about other cultures, but when you lose your identity in trying to assimilate, I think that's pretty much a certain kind of death of authenticity. The first I think of, when I was about 9, I was looking through PBS channel surfing, and I couldn't change when I saw this one image. It was Sarah Vaughan and Count Basie Orchestra. Now I know what it is. Sarah Vaughan and Count Basie Orchestra, Send in the Clowns. And it was crazy. I could not change a channel. She had this beautiful, gorgeous dress, multicolored, and she was sweating, and she didn't care, and she was just there. Like whatever, here I am. It was amazing. So I would say that. I love that one. I think there's a recording, is it Soul 69 with Aretha Franklin? I believe Junior Mance was talking about this. And the cuts on there are crazy. And anything, I think, from Elis Regina, Brazil, like, she is so beast. When you watch footage of her live, you just like, wow, this is some other alien that landed on the planet just to give us a gift. So, Aretha, Sarah, and Elis Regina. Hey. Sorry it's girl heavy today. Ask me tomorrow, it'll be a different answer.